Hello and welcome. This is Alchemist X, and this is the weekly update for February 3rd. So, it's a very global, exclusive, centered update. So, first and foremost, Lachesis has finally come out, and a new memento for her as well. Just a little bit of background. She was first teased before the anniversary, and then when we got the producer's letter, like before that, they kind of made it sound like she was going to come out around the time of the anniversary in like Gate 7, and then she just didn't, and then we just didn't hear anything, and now she's here. So she's also a little bit interesting in that she is more like a Genesis unit with the like less gates of enlightenment and higher scarcity of the soul shards. So like you're not going to find her in the Louise shop, but we'll more on that in the banner overview. So there's a challenge board for a global relief, so that's kind of nice, especially because you can get or maybe more than one, global memento from the season pass. So they have these every once in a while, not really any kind of regularity, but they just show up here and there, and there's a free half and a pay half. If you play Genshin Impact, you know what to expect. I'm sure a lot of other gacha games have probably had them too. As far as do I think the paid part is worth it, I would definitely say yes. Because especially like if you were going to buy the $30 bundle, I would just skip that and buy this instead. You get slightly less gems, but I think you get more overall value, including like 5-star memento and unit tickets. And then closer to the end, you'll get a global 5-star unit selector for anything pre-2022. So if you had units that you wanted to grab, like say maybe you never got Grimm and you wanted him, or Li Wang or Red, somebody like that, you could get a unit and their memento and just be set. The only issue is soul shards, but you also get some soul shards from finishing it too. So there's just like set you up with global stuff, and I think that's pretty cool. I think a selector is a step up from the previous ones where it was just a ticket from a small pool of mementos. So now let's take a look at the maps that are going on. So there's a new chapter of Veritas Historia, the final chapter for this. It'll probably be something else Historia after this is all said and done. That's just your standard like levels and EX. I'm still finishing it, but I'm definitely kind of interested in the story. I think global is a little bit weird sometimes, but it's kind of cool and just kind of fun. I always like to see what are they going to do with their own kind of story that's tangential to the rest of the story of Alchemist Code, but also in its own little bubble. The Ascension Trials are also back, so if you're missing any job pluses for any of these units, I definitely recommend them. You know, some more than others, but still. Definitely just grab all of them if you can. Any other global stuff is rerunning as well, so there's some really old stuff. If you never got the chance to grab, there's really good gear you can get for free called the Trusty Critter Chip, and that gives you an M attack modifier. And that can be really nice, especially if you're still like starting out and are still hungry for gears. Eventually you'll have more gears than you know what to do with, but it takes a while to get to that point. And then there's also soul shard quests for global units. So in this case, you have to own the unit, so it's functionally like an EX hard quest, but you can do them 3 times a day. So it's not a ton of shards overall, but it is something. So that is definitely nice, especially because global is fairly sporadic in when it appears, so it can be hard to get a good sense of like how fast are you going to be able to progress these units. So that is all I have got for the content overview. So now let's take a look at the banners. Okay, so here we are at the banners. So first up, there is a paid summon that it's one of those 1 unit's guaranteed, and then the other 9 are just sets of 25 shards. So as far as if you really want to get Lachesis, like as far as that goes, this is probably like the best single instance odds, because like 17 global units, 1 in 17, probably the best that you're going to get. So if you're like really interested in getting Lachesis, then it might be worth a shot, like especially if you're planning on doing the only reliable way to get here, which we'll get to. Or if you just need global shards in general. It's not terrible. Definitely not the best, but not the worst. And then after that, there is one from Mementos where you're guaranteed one of these. Kind of a similar thing where it's like if you're trying to use a small amount of paid gems to, relatively speaking, to not spend a ton of free gems, there's you can take a stab at that. But otherwise, not really recommended. So yeah, while we're on the subject, let's talk about Lachesis and acquiring her. Because as I mentioned earlier on in the video, she is more akin to a Genesis unit and even has the Genesis style 5-step. And you will not find her in the Louise shop. So if you want to get her, this is going to be the only reliable way to do it. There is a coin banner a little down the line where it's an option, but you can't rely on those. So you have to ask the question, how much do you want to pay for what I would consider to be an excellent support unit? So I haven't really talked about that. She is like a buffer. Her memento, when max limit broken, gives buff duration +1. She has an attack or P attack / M attack modifier booster, kind of like how Dark Nyx or Kudenstein can do, where they have ways of increasing the amount that gets multiplied. She can apply that to any unit, and she can also just kind of boost wind damage. So I don't think there's a question about her being good at what she does, a good support unit that you could definitely take into raids. That's not in the question. The question is the price tag, because if you want to guarantee her, if your luck is bad, then you'd be looking at 85k gems, and that is quite a lot of gems. So for some people, I don't think it would be worth it if you're not really set on damage dealers. If you are, however, and you just want to support, and you especially really like dealing tons of damage with wind units, then she could be the unit for you. But I definitely could see the very high price tag being a barrier for a lot of people that they don't want to be able to cross. So yeah, that's my piece on Lachesis. So after that, we've got 2-3 steps that I think you should skip, because you can't even get a 25 shard selector on step 3. So helping you transmute or capigate is not that helpful if you can't go get. And they're all Louise shop available anyway. And next we got the coin banner that I just mentioned previously. So this one's pretty good if you've got global units already. If you have even just one of them that you want to pick up extra shards of, and getting 1,000 coins will really, really help. And then if you get really lucky, you might get some other ones along the way, or if you get a dupe of one that you've already got, you get 100 shards. I would just not look at it too much like trying to get new units, because otherwise you could get disappointed. But they make a very, very good icing on the cake. There's another one as well for the slightly older global units. I definitely would recommend the other one a little bit more, unless you have very specific plans but as far as it's most likely that you aren't going to have as many on the other banner, especially because Lachesis is included. Well, that's why. Next we've got a collab, because technically the Crystal of Reunion and Brave Frontier is still going for the rest of this week. This is coin centric. If you need a bunch of the coins, you can get them. You can get quite a bit of them, 3,000. And any duplicates will be 100 shards, but just nothing is guaranteed. So definitely, I would make sure to figure out exactly how many shards that 3,000 coins can get you of the applicable units, because that should really determine whether it's worth the gems or not. And basically, same thing on this one, except that it's Brave Frontier. Next, we've got a memento summon. So if you want to get Lachesis memento, guaranteed, it's here on the 9-step. So you might have to pull to step 9, but otherwise, I would say if you want to get Lachesis, you definitely would want to get the memento too, just because whenever a support unit, that especially a buffing unit, has buff duration +1, that's great. Just helps you out a ton. Next, we've got 2 banners I don't think anybody really needs to pull on, because their mementos with the guarantees are a little bit further down for the rest of the week. So I guess if you needed a ton of summon coins for whatever reason, I don't understand though. I can't imagine a use case that makes any sense. And then a bunch of old banners. And then, as I mentioned, if you want to grab the memento for any of the Brave Frontier or Crystal of Reunion, you can do that. I myself went for Masacados just because I decided to go pretty heavily investment on him because I like his kit a ton. So decisions don't always need to be meta. Just ask my Solva about that. So yeah, that is it for the weekly update this week. So if you are going for Lachesis, I wish you extra good luck because dang, that is quite the price tag. And I will see you all next time.